Well, everyone, welcome to the Nations Forum. In today's Nations Forum, we got different countries here to discuss a worldwide issue. We have got the delegations of Ukraine, Russia. We also have got the United Kingdom, the United States, Mexico, and Cuba. Welcome to all these nations who are going to intervene in this Nations Forum. And well, the first thing that we're going to do after saying welcome to everyone will be to go to the first part of the debate, which includes having the position about this conflict. So each one of the nations that are here participating, they are going to speak for a minute, yes, and they are going to say what's their position about this very interesting issue. Yes. So we're going to start with the directly involved nations that are Ukraine and Russia. So I think that the delegate of Russia is going to start. Come on, delegate of Russia. Are you ready to start? Come on.
Ready, teacher.
Come on, you can start.
Well, in the first place, the country doesn't consider that we are invading a foreign country. We are calling it a special operation. In second place, we feel that that latest developments in Ukraine have been threatening to national to security of our nation. Okay. In the late years, the country of Ukraine has been getting closer and closer to NATO and the European Union. And that is an issue that the country cannot ignore.
Thank you very much, Delegate of Russia, for setting your position. You can have now your camera on, and you did it in such a nice time of 52 seconds. Well, so after listening to the delegate of Russia's position, now it's time to listen to Ukraine's delegate position. Are you ready, delegate of Ukraine? Hello?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Okay, let us watch you, delegate of Ukraine, and your time starts to run right now. Let's go.
Okay, so part of being the delegate of Ukraine, we are concerned about the things that Russia is trying to do, because there's this excuse that they are trying to protect their citizens of the Donetsk and Lugansk territories, but it's unintentionally violating the sovereignty of our country from Ukraine. So this has left since 2014 that has started all this issue until now, more than 14 million dead people, including kids and families in general. So the position is to please stop. And that's all.
Thank you very much, delegate of Ukraine. Your time was pretty good of 50 seconds. Thank you very much. Well, we have already listened to the positions of the countries that are directly involved in this conflict. But now, why don't we listen to the opinion of some other countries that are gonna be neutral in this forum, and in the end of the forum, they are going to take a final position about this conflict. So I consider important the intervention of the delegate of the United States of America. Hi, delegate, are you ready to speak? Come on. Okay, let's go. Now we can watch you and the time starts to run as soon as you have your microphone on. Let's go.
Okay, first of all, good afternoon to everyone. We are the United States delegation, and we are here to protect the sovereignty of Ukraine. And we, since the 2nd of February, we've been trying to look up for a pacific way to take sovereignty of Ukraine, and Russia has taken a part in this by attacking Ukraine. So this is why we're starting to make our moves. And it's all just because we have to respect that even though that Ukraine isn't on the OTAN, they are part of the United Nations, and that's why we have to keep them secure and by their own.
Okay, Delegate of the United States, thank you very much for your intervention. Delegate of the United States, we have a special note in our chat so that you can check it out, but thank you very much for participating. Well, after listening to 3 different positions, we would
Well,
like to listen.
uh,
Yes,
well,
you
going
want
on,
us? Yeah.
Russia has violated what was established in the United Nations Charter that prohibits the use of force in international relations, which places a great limit on the development of troops beyond the borders of each country. The
Okay.
legal presence of foreign troops in a country can occur fundamental, fundamental, fundament, fundamentally uh, for 3 reasons. Through the
Okay.
signing of an agreement with the host state based on the resolution of the United Nations Security Council and by applying self-defense against a previous attack. Any other presence of foreign troops in the territory of Ukraine, whether on one of a regular basis, is illegal under international laws.
Okay. Thank you very much, Delegate of the United States. Your time is over. Now, after listening to the delegation of the United States of America, we're going to have the position of the delegate of Cuba. Hello, delegate of Cuba. Are you ready to talk? As soon as you
Yeah,
start
I
your
am.
microphone. Okay. Delegate of Cuba, you can start. Your time is on.
Okay, good afternoon to everyone. I'm certainly in the position of Russia for defending their interest about the nations and the separatist way that most of the Ukrainian people have in their states. I think Russia has the how to say it. Mm, he would like to defend our own nation to separatists for our enemies of Russian people and Ukraine people as well. So I am the side of Russia for that reason.
Okay, thank you very much, delegate of Cuba. Your time was pretty nice with 50 seconds. Thank you very much. After listening the position of Cuba, United States of America, Ukraine, and Russia. Now we consider important the intervention of the delegate of the United Kingdom. Delegate of the United Kingdom, ready to start?
Yes, teacher.
Okay.
Well, I think that we need to. How do I say? I forgot my camera. Sorry.
Yes, please start
Ah,
it. Let's
did
go.
you? Okay.
Yes.
I think that one of the best country to protect. I think like say protect. It's Ukraine. Well, I think that we need to
Support.
support Ukraine. I think because it's one of the how do I say? Well, I think that if we support Ukraine, we can support all Europe, because if they invade Ukraine, they can, well, this side of Putin can have the power to invade all Europe. So if we protect and we stop them with the first invasion that they made, we can stop all that conflict that that make like a bath in all Europe. And that's all.
Thank you very much, delegate of the United Kingdom. I text you some note in our chat, delegate of the United Kingdom, so that you can consider it for your next intervention. Okay, so let's get this started because we have heard now the delegate of the United Kingdom. We are missing still 3 delegations that haven't intervened yet. So we would like to listen the intervention of the delegate of China. Hi, delegate of China. Are you ready to speak? Hello, delegate of China. Come on.
Good afternoon to all.
Good afternoon,
And
delegate.
we have a great relationship with the Russian government, but we believe that this operation must be stopped. There must be self-determination and talks about this, since we are defenders of the rights of sovereignty, and what is established must be complied with, in addition to the fact that this can have a great consequences. But also, as we have been saying, we blame the United States for promoting the Russian country to do this, since they have trampled on several small countries and put ideas of war. Finally, as we have always said, we do not go into the internal affairs of others, and that other countries should not interfere in ours, since they entail sanctions, which our government does not want. Our embassy mentioned recently that it's been recommended that people put a Chinese flag on their car and help each other while showing the strength of China.
Okay, thank you very much, delegate of China. For your next intervention, please, we beg you to start your camera, all right? Thank you very much to the delegate of China who has set his position. And now I think we are missing the intervention of the delegate of Mexico and France, yeah? The delegate of Mexico will be next. Hello, delegate of Mexico, are you ready to start with your position in this debate? Good afternoon.
Well, yes.
Hello, delegate. Are you ready to start? Come on.
Hello.
Your time starts now. Come on.
Yes. The position of Mexico is to reject any invasion, not only of Russia, and any of the other country that is here. Not only Russia, we reject all type of invasion, and we want to maintain good relations with other countries, and we're not going to apply any sanctions against Russia.
Okay, delegate of Mexico, did you finish?
Yes.
Thank you very much. For the next intervention, delegate of Mexico, we beg you to start your camera. Okay, well, we are just, we almost finished, everyone, because, okay, we have a message from the delegate of China. Okay, delegate of China, you can be excused for that, no problem. Well, we are just missing to set the position of the delegate of France. Hello, delegate of France, can you start your camera and tell us your position for a minute? Let us know when you're ready so that your time can start to run, delegate of France. No?
Teacher, we didn't hear
Sorry,
your microphone.
teacher. Yes, I didn't hear what you say.
Okay, delegate of France, you can start. Come on.
Yes. Well, in the case of France, it's affects in the point that it's part of NATO, and Russia seeks to directly or indirectly attack this organization of countries, since it thinks that it is an organization in favor of the United States interests. However, the military attacks that took place last week have given much to talk about in all the world, since they are serious acts of violence. Therefore, France seeks to respond to this act of war without weakness, with cold blood, determination and unity, as it was mentioned by its president. So they will give their full support to Ukraine, and the sanctions toward these acts will be reflected in the Russia economy in Europe.
Okay, thank you very much to the delegation of France. And well, we have already listened to the different positions of the delegations that are participating in this forum. So now we are going to go to the second part of this interesting debate about the conflict between Russia and Ukraine. And I think the positions are clearly shown because we have in the second phase of this debate, we have the delegations that have already participated, and now they are going to intervene in a different order. Yes, the delegations that are directly involved in this conflict, they are going to speak in the end after listening to some opinions from the other delegations. So we consider that the first intervention should be from the United States first, because the delegate of China questioned the delegation of the United States about the direct intervention they have had by supporting Ukraine and by doing some other interventions that were not directly asked by some other countries that have been involved in this conflict, and some others, like for example Iraq, Afghanistan, and some other countries that have had some kind of issues like this before. So we think that it's important the participation now on the speakers list from the delegation of the USA. Ready, delegation of the USA? For talking, you're gonna have a time of 2 minutes.
Yep.
Let's go.
Well, responding to what China said, the US talks with facts and not just to talk. We're trying to stop Russia from doing what took place in Crimea 2014. I don't know if you can remember that fact, where Russia do the same as what they are doing now, but in Crimea, because they were refuting that Crimea was still a part from the Russia kingdom, and well, they invaded them and take out their sovereignty. So we don't want this to take place again in history. So that's why we're trying to stop them and getting attached to their ideals. And well, that's what we're talking about now. And well, sorry, we demand that Russia withdraw its troops because they are violating the provisions of the United Nations Charter that I also talked to you about some minutes ago, because, well, we know that the deployment of troops beyond a border of a country without the signing of an agreement with the host state, this is an open attack, and since
You have 10 seconds, delegate of USA.
we've been
Conclude.
wanting Ukraine to get into the NATO, that's why we've been deploying our troops around.
Thank you very much, delegate of the USA. Your time is over. Well, we consider, according to the facts that the delegate of the USA has mentioned, we consider important to listen to the delegation of China to respond about the things that the delegate of the USA has mentioned previously. Can you intervene, delegate of the People's Republic of China? Hello, hello, delegate of China. Are you ready to speak? Okay, delegate of China. Can you log out of the session and start all over again to see, because your participation in this debate is fundamental. Give me just a second. I'm going to text you a message. Well, since the delegation of China is not available to speak by the moment to defend themselves for the issues that the delegate of the United States of America said, we would like to listen now the opinion, yes, of the delegate of Russia for answering to the questions that the delegate of the USA said about the occupation of Crimea, that now it's part of the Russian Federation, and also because the delegate of the United States considers that it's better that their troops to leave as soon as possible from the Ukrainian territory. Delegate of Russia, are you ready to intervene? You have 2 minutes as the time your microphone starts. Ready, let's go.
Well, first things first, how do we put this, Russia, officially, we don't want to do any, officially, we do not want to annex Ukraine. However, we do not want Ukraine to be a part of NATO. Doing so would open the possibility for our enemy, for our rivals to put weapons to put weapons near Russia, and that is a threat to our national security. We can ignore it. If the US can compromise to leave the troops, we will leave ours.
Wow. Very nice, delegate of Russia. Anything else to say?
And the only thing I can say is, if you want this to de-escalate, it has to be on both sides.
Thank you very much, delegate of Russia. I think the message was clearly established by the delegate of Russia to all this forum, that he wants more equal conditions, because they would accept to have their troops away of Ukraine just if the USA and the rest of the countries that are part of NATO do not accept Ukraine to join this association, right? So I think it's important to listen to the position of Ukraine, because in the end, this is the country that has been more affected by this conflict. Delegation of UK, are you ready to intervene?
Yes.
Your time starts. Let's go.
Well, so the reason we want to be part of the NATO, it's that to protect our citizens and the territory in general. But after the 2014 conflict, that Russia, that both held a referendum to separate from Ukraine the Donetsk and Lugansk territories, which only was recognized by Russia and not the international community. That's something that it's really concerned to the Ukraine country. And we would like to make an pact to be in a peaceful movement, because this been so dangerous to a lot of parts of Ukraine, taking in consideration Kherson, Kiev, Crimea, among others. And I think that's all.
Thank you very much, delegate of Ukraine. And well, we have clearly listened to some positions, but I think it's important that if we can listen to the position of some other countries, like for example, the United Kingdom. Can you give us your opinion about this, delegate of the United Kingdom? Are you ready to start?
About in what side I am?
Yes.
Let me. I think that by my part, I think that one of the best to, I think that Ucrania is the one that has, that we need to make like how do you say? I think that
Delegate of
Ucrania,
the United Kingdom, remember the official name of the country in English is Ukraine. Please refer to Ukraine as
Ukraine,
Ukraine.
sorry,
Yes, thank you very much. Go on.
sorry. I think that Ukraine has a reason that they didn't do anything. So I think that like the Putin is like a crazy person. So I think that Ukraine has, that they need to receive our appointment,
Support. Support.
our support, because they don't do anything. So I think that we need to support them.
Okay, thank you very much, Delegate of the United Kingdom. Well, we have clearly listened to the position of the United Kingdom, which is to support completely to the Ukrainian nation on this conflict. We have a message. Okay, the delegate of the United States wants to intervene. Yes, delegate of the USA, you can take the forum for a minute because it's an extraordinary intervention. Yes, you can speak for a minute. Let's go.
Yeah. Well, we have to include for Russia, talking for Russia, that even much of the Russian population is calling for the attack to stop. And this is directly affecting its population because the ruble, their currency, has dropped by 40%. And just as trade agreements are breaking and stopping trade for them. And well, to this is added that the International Olympic Committee has requested that all Russian athletes to be excluded from all types of competitions. So that's why we need them to stop this, because not only Ukraine is suffering by this, but also the Russian population is dropping by them.
Thank you very much, Delegate of the United States. Your time has just finished, in fact. And well, we would like to listen to the position of the delegate of France. Delegate of France, we want to know what is your opinion for the things that the delegate of the United States have said about the penalties to Russia that recently has been suspended from the Olympic Committee, the World Cup, and some other economical penalties that the Russian Federation has acquired. Are you agree with this delegation of France? What do you have to say about this issue?
Yes. Well, I think that it's important answer to the conflict. I think it's important because it's like a way to attack to Russia, but not like in a violent act like it did the last week. So I'm agree, and I think it's like the best way to defend the other countries without violence.
Okay, so we can say that in short words, Delegate of France, you support the penalties that that the United States of America has cost to the Russian Federation. Yes or not? Okay, we can say in short words, yeah, the delegation of France supports this. Why don't we listen some other delegation to listen to their opinion? Delegation of Cuba, what do you think about these penalties that the delegation of the Russian Federation has acquired? You have been suspended for more than 40 years, yes, and you have been banned by the United States of America to start commerce with other countries, like for example Europe. And it's very important that you set your position, Cuba, because one of the most
I didn't
important.
hear much of what you were saying.
Okay, let me say it again. Can you hear me now? Yes, can you hear me
Yeah, I
now,
can hear you.
delegation? Okay, delegation of Cuba, we
Yeah,
would
yeah.
like to listen. What's your position about this? Because some years ago, you were um, um, penalized by the United States, and still you are having some consequences about these penalties of the United States, and you cannot make any kind of trade with European nations or with other countries like Japan. Your one of the most important suppliers for your country, Cuba, is Ukraine. And if Ukraine is in the middle of a conflict, probably you're gonna start having lots of issues to get products from Ukraine. What do you have to say about this? Are you agreeing with the United States to have these like penalties to Russia, Cuba?
Sorry, I can't hear you. It's glitching a lot the sound.
Yeah, don't worry.
But
What do you think about
I
the
barely hear.
penalties? Come on, let's go.
Yeah, I think it's hard to say to people who doesn't depend about resources that are provided by his own country. For example, Russia has the right to fight these um, threats or these obstructions
Yeah.
because he is a vital provider of gas and petroleum of the all the countries are all around them. So it doesn't make sense because if you cut the supplies of Russia, you are cutting all around them, including Ukraine, and it doesn't have any sense because they are a fundamental uh, pillar of supplies for any countries. So I don't think it's fair
Yes,
about that situation.
you don't support the USA with all these penalties to Russia, or do you?
Yeah, no, I
Okay.
don't.
Thank you very much, Delegate of Cuba. Your position was really clear. Why don't we go now with the position of the Delegate of Mexico? Delegate of Mexico, you have been a very important partner to the United States. What's your position about this, about the things that the United States has done to Russia? Do you support them? What can you say about that, Delegate of Mexico?
Well, I think we are neutral. Like we don't support and we don't um
You are not against?
yeah, against basically.
Okay, so you don't support the United States, neither Russia?
Nope.
No? What do you propose to solve this conflict, Delegate of Mexico?
Well, the only we want this to end peacefully as possible through dialogue and diplomacy.
Okay, that's a very clear position. Thank you very much, Delegate of Mexico. Delegate of China, can you intervene? I think we consider that your opinion is very important in this conflict because you have been mentioned by the United States previously. Are you there?
Yes.
Come on.
Well, emphasizing in the first point on where I can speak to intervene with the United States, on the point where we agree is that it's not convenient for us to carry out this operation towards Ukraine. It can be had both physical and material consequences. And as I mentioned, we have great ties with Vladimir Putin and his government, but this operation makes us uncomfortable. Since we are in the middle of this, so we prefer to take it to the talks or right now, no matter how much the American government speaks in favor of peace, that is not what they demonstrate internally. They are constantly attacking different countries, either verbally or physically. An example of this is the way in which they have templated the small countries, and in addition to having bases around the world, and if they want peace, they can intervene for the sake of peace. And speaking of this about the sanctions or the penalties, our governments describe them as illegal and unilateral sanctions. China does not approve of sanctions as a way to solve problems. Beijing has always opposed unilateral sanctions above international law. China calls all parties to show restraint to avoid exacerbating tensions between Russia and Ukraine. And China opposes any illegal sanctions that harm Russia's legitimate rights and interests. The United States has imposed more than 100 sanctions against Russia since 2011, but this is not a fundamental and effective means to solve the problem.
Okay, thank you very much, Delegate of China. And well, delegates, at least we have listened to all the positions of the different delegations. And I think we have reached the second part of the debate. And in this second part of the debate, we are going to discuss a little bit about this economical issue, which is about the sanctions. So we need to vote and to clearly set our opinion here by the chat that we have here. Yes. So in our chat, delegates, I would like if you could vote in favor or
your audio is failing.
my audio is failing. Okay, let me see. How about now? Can you hear me? Can you hear me, Francisco? Yes. Okay. Valeria says yes. Okay. Thank you very much, delegates, for indicating me that my audio was going
No,
wrong.
teacher.
No? Damn it.
It failed.
Let me see. How about now? Yes, can you hear me now or not really?
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah.
perfect. Well, to the delegations, yes, we would like to know by our chat, if you could please tell us, yeah, by typing a message in the chat, if you are in favor or against the penalties that the United States of America has imposed for punishing Russia. So please, by the chat, everyone, please start to type if you are in favor or against the penalties that the United States of America has done to Russia for not helping them to have more commerce and to send them out from sports events and to, okay, obviously the delegation of Russia is against, as well as China. How about the other delegations? We would like to know your opinions about this. Yes, Cuba, we have 3 votes against. And I know that some nations here have said that they are neutral, but we would like to know what's your opinion. By the moment, we have 3 against, but we don't have still the vote for the delegation of England, the delegation of France, the delegation of Ukraine. What do you have to say? Okay, Ukraine is in favor, obviously. Yes, we would like to know from the other delegations. United Kingdom, the same, is in favor. And also the delegation of France. Delegation of Mexico, we know you are neutral, but we want to know what's your position in this conflict. Yes, can you please express your opinion about this delegation of Mexico? We consider it's in favor. Wow. Okay, well, we can see that Mexico is neutral, but they consider that to have these penalties to Russia, it's in favor. They consider that they should go on. Well, we have just started the moderated caucus, and well, in this part of the debate, we are going to say some points, yes, related to the voting that we have done. I think it's kind of surprising that the delegation of Mexico, even though they are a neutral country, has voted in favor. So maybe we can talk about this because, well, previously they have mentioned that that Russia is a very important gas supplier for the European country, and it really surprises me that that some nations like the United Kingdom and France have voted in favor of banning the Russian Federation to have some commerce. So why don't we listen to the Russian Federation saying their opinion about what the Russian Federation has just witnessed of the countries that are not in favor of you, Russia. What do you have to say?
Honestly, it surprises me that Mexico is even in favor.
Wow.
Because Mexico, you've been affected very negatively by the United States in the past.
Yes.
Also, also we concord with China that in the opinion that these sanctions are excessive and unjustified. The United States has intervened too many times without any sort of validation. And as far as I know, we haven't cut the gas supply yet. If we wished, we could have done it a long time ago.
Okay. Delegation of Russia, did you finish?
No, not yet.
Come on,
We also
keep on.
want to say that we can. We also want to say that yes, the U.S. has built a lot of bases all over the world without any kind of justification or any kind of real reason, just doing it for the sake of their so-called peace, when they have demonstrated time and time and again that they aren't that. They are a violent country that thinks itself with the right to intervene whenever it sees fit. That's not cooperation. That's just unilateral interventions.
Okay.
They are making arbitrary decisions left and right, and only if they want to open up a dialogue to stop the war, they have to stop making such decisions.
Okay, thank you very much, Delegate of Russia. I think your position is pretty clear about what you're saying. Delegate of the United States of America, do you have anything to say about what the Delegate of Russia has said?
Yeah, as said before, there's established that on the UN Charter that that we can have I don't know, I'm trying to if we have a signing agreement, we can have and be installed in the countries that allow us. So that's why we've been doing all of this. And well, because Russia did not want to settle a conflict the conflict diplomatically, the US will send up to 250 million in general aid to Ukraine and end up to 350 million in defense items and services.
Okay, thank you very much, Delegate of the United States. Well, we consider important the intervention of the delegation of Ukraine because in the end, we can see that the delegation of Ukraine is supported by the United States and some other countries like United Kingdom and France. And recently we have seen the position of Mexico that has declined for the position that delegation of the United States is proposing to keep on restricting the commerce of Russia and to give some restrictions to the products. But Ukraine, is there something you want to say about the topic that we are talking about, delegation of Ukraine? Can you establish?
Sorry, teacher, I don't hear the last part.
No, don't worry. What do you have to say about this delegation of Ukraine? We consider important your participation.
Okay. Well, so the delegation of Ukraine thinks that it's in favor of the acts that the United States is taking to, because there are only restrictions that they are not affecting at all the country of Russia, and try to put it in a balance. I think that the delegation of Ukraine thinks that it's fair in certain way because they are not making armament movements, and it's only restrictions not to put in danger the people and the citizens near from Russia and Ukraine. For example, Romania. I don't remember how to say it in English, but
yes, it's correct.
for example,
Romania.
that Romania, among others, and it's like the most peaceful thing that we can do instead to make that Russia stop the armament movement.
Thank you very much to the delegation of Ukraine. Well, the time for the moderated caucus has expired, but before we continue and before we go on to the next phase, any delegation would like to speak before the moderated caucus is over and we go on to the next phase? Any of the delegations? Delegation of Cuba, France, United Kingdom, Mexico? Anything else you want to say? No? Well, since not,
Well,
we are
I
going
think
to,
that we
yes,
have
delegation
to,
of the United States. Let's go. Yes, state.
that well, we have to add that the International Bank is preparing $3,000 billion to help Ukraine.
Okay, that's a very good comment. Any other delegation that wants to add? Maybe delegation of Russia, Ukraine, China. Anything else to add? No? Well, yes, delegation of Russia, state.
Well, I just want to tell something to the more unusual parts of this conflict, and that is if you allow the US and other countries to impose these restrictions on us, what's stopping them from doing that, from exacting the same restrictions onto you? What's stopping them from arbitrarily making decisions, from arbitrarily blocking a country economically? They've done, because they are doing that with Cuba, and they intend to do that to us.
Okay.
And if we allow this to continue, it will soon spiral out of control. The message is pretty clear. An organization on its own cannot be allowed to block a country, no matter what it is about.
Thank you very much, delegate of Russia. Did you finish?
Yes.
Thank you very much. And we are going to close with the intervention of the delegate of China. Delegate of China, state.
Yes, thank you. The position of the United States doesn't make sense to me. They attack many countries. They have attacked us with alleged cyber attacks, and we go out to deny everything. Now they want to put sanctions on Russia, and when they do worse things, and they were just waiting for this moment to attack. And I think that if the Americans want peace, they can intervene to rescue Russia. And since they have a power of the same magnitude, but instead of that, they just talk and don't act. The USA has a lot of power of speech, and that has influenced the opinions of the countries on this situation. Even as I mentioned at the beginning, the USA gave Russia ideas to create this attack, and then they take advantage of this to sanction Russia.
Okay. Okay, I consider it's important to have the reply of the delegation of Mexico first and later from the United States. Delegation of Mexico, state, you can start.
Well, Russia, we cannot like sanction you, but you can invade Ukraine. It's nonsense. You are not like how I say this.
To be coherent.
Uh-huh.
Come on.
And the wait.
Yes, so delegation
You
of
are not
Mexico.
the owner of
Yeah,
the
yeah.
world, and is not what you say is nonsense.
Okay, all right, delegation of Mexico, thank you very much. And okay, before we continue, we consider important the opinion of the delegation of Ukraine because In the end, it's in the middle of the conflict, and then we go with United States, right? Delegation of Ukraine state. Yes, delegation of Ukraine. You raise your hands. You can start.
Okay. Well, with all the respect possible to the president of Russia, the other delegations that are in favor of the decisions that the United States is taking to, we have the question, the constant question of the things that are deciding the President Vladimir Putin to don't take in consideration the safe and the life of all the citizens in Russia, in their country, and Ukraine, and the other ones that are near, because a lot of countries are helping the citizens of Ukraine to escape in certain way of the war, of the conflict. And the question is when he's going to stop of all these decisions and try to take a talk to be in a neutral situation.
Okay, thank you very much, Delegate of Ukraine. So, as I said before, we conclude with the intervention of the Delegate of the United States to reply to all the questions that they have been done. Let's go, Delegate of the USA. We cannot hear you, Delegate of the USA.
Yeah.
Let's go.
As China and Russia delegated said, and as stated above, even the vast majority of the Russian population is against this move. And well, adding up for Mexico, we know that Mexico will be neutral to this doom because of what's established on their Estrada doctrine. So that will respond of all the questions about why Mexico is neutral for this, and this is to China and Russia to understand why they're taking this position.
Okay, thank you very much. I think with this part of the debate, we have finished the moderated caucus, and now we are going to go to the next phase of this debate that is called conclusions. So, in order to do this, we're going to go on to some breakout rooms so that we can like assign them and we can set the final position according to the sites that we have. So give me just a moment and I'm going to assign in room 1, who could it be? In room 1, it's gonna be Cuba together with China and Russia. Yes. Let me see. And in room 2, it will be the other delegations. Okay, so please start to join the other rooms, everyone, so that you can talk and finally to say what are the things that you propose in order to close today's session of this debate, yes? Or what demands does your delegation have? It's missing to join the delegation of Cuba to join room 1. Delegate of the USA, please join room number 2. And come on, you can start to talk to each other. Let's go.
y a otros países y a otros países del este